Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be kind of a new fun video idea for my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about, and in the course of the video, reviewing 3 different books that TikTok recommended to me. So I'm very late to the game with this. I just recently downloaded TikTok and was kind of scrolling through it, and I thought, hey, it'd be fun to do one of those like TikTok review videos where people put different TikTok products to the test or different like recommendations. So I chose 3 different TikToks that we're going to watch really quick here together that are reviewing and recommending 3 different cozy mysteries. All 3 are from different creators, and all of these are from authors I have not read, and 2, at least for this video, 2 of them I've never even heard of personally. So I'm really excited to be sharing the book picks with you. And yeah, let's go ahead and jump into our first one. So our first book is recommended to us by Earl Grey Please, or Aubrey it looks like, and her TikTok says, "Who knew baking and murder made such a good combo?" And throughout the short TikTok she's talking about some of the cozy mysteries that are famous for having fun like baking themes to them.
So I finished this book a couple days ago. I thrifted it because the cover was cute and it said it was a murder mystery, and I was like, I'm down. And it'll be in my wrap-up. It was 3 stars. It was cute, whatever. But apparently I found out it's part of this genre where there's like an amateur sleuth and there's like a murder mystery, but the environment is cozy. Like there's usually baking or knitting or something like that. And then in the back of the book, there are like recipes or instructions for how to sew or how to knit something. Like, I'm into it.
So the book that she recommended is called Town in a Blueberry Jam, and this is by B.B. Haywood. I did check this out from my library, so there's a little covering over that, but I'll pop a picture on screen so you can take a better look at the cover. It does include delicious blueberry-based recipes, which I'm excited for. Personally love blueberries. And she recommended this book saying it was a really good baking murder mystery, which, if you know me, you know I personally love a good baking cozy mystery. Jen McKinley, Winnie Archer, probably some of my favorites, but I definitely was excited to try a new baking cozy out. So in this one, it's centered around the town of Cape Wellington, Maine, which personally I love anything to do with the Northeast, because I've personally never been there, and it just sounds like such a beautiful setting. Everything that I've seen looks gorgeous. So I'm very excited for that. So I can tell already just from reading the back of this that this is going to be a pretty cheesy, like punny cozy mystery, like definitely more on the humorous side of the cozy, which is completely fine. It's gonna be fun. So our main character's name is Candy Holiday. The series itself is called A Candy Holiday Murder Mystery, and in Cape Wellington, Maine, Candy works with her father to run Blueberry Acres Farm, which sounds really cool. I'm excited to learn a little bit more about that. And she's very shocked when 2 different people are murdered in very short succession within the town. One of them, it looks like, is an aging playboy, as he's described, and he takes a nosedive off of a seaside cliff. And then the other one is the crowned town blueberry queen, Sapphire Vine. So this is, I mean, the names alone, this is definitely going to be a very, like, punny, humorous mystery. And so the blueberry queen, Sapphire, ends up dead with a hammer, I think, through her head. It sounds like, ooh, bad way to go. And unfortunately, Candy's friend, the local handyman, is accused of the crime, presumably because of the hammer. And so Candy works to clear his name with that and figure out what's going on here with these 2 murders, is there a connection, that sort of thing. Okay, so our next TikTok recommendation is from Laura the author, and she is answering a question from one of her followers about if she has recommendations for cozy mystery, like beginners, any that she would recommend.
And then here are 3 of my more favorite modern takes on cozy mystery. A Spell for Trouble. This is a magical cozy mystery by Esme Addison. I already pre-ordered the second one. Really love this. Hollywood Homicide is a little bit more traditional than cozy, but it's really great. Kelly Garrett. Love this book. And then Killer Content by Olivia Blacke. This one is also a great one. The first chapter is really great.
So she had a whole handful of ones she recommended, so I just picked one, and actually one of them is the other one that is recommended, the third Booktok book that we'll be reviewing, so we'll talk about that in just a moment. But this one that she recommended sounded really interesting to me. I hadn't heard anything about this book or the author before, so totally new to me. This is Killer Content by Olivia Blacke, and it's a Brooklyn murder mystery. So our main character's name is Odessa, and she has just moved or been transplanted, as the summary says, into Brooklyn, and she's having, like, you know, a little bit of a rocky adjustment to it, and she's been able to score a rent-free apartment, which, talk about a fantasy right there, by cat sitting, and she has a new job at this bookstore and cafe, so she's working on selling books, and it sounds like craft beer. I don't really think of cafes and alcohol usually, so it's interesting. I usually think coffee, but regardless. So she's working on selling these things. So what ties into the title Killer Content is that one of Odessa's friends and like fellow waitresses, Bethany, who is an up-and-coming YouTuber, she ends up dying in the background of a flash mob proposal video, and it goes viral, thus the Killer Content, which, how terrible is that? That's obviously a really bad way to go. Bethany ends up dying in the back of a video, and so Odessa starts to hunt down clues, figure out what happened, and she wants to know, you know, does this have something to do with Bethany's YouTube career? Is it something from her personal life? What's going on here? And so she uses the viral content and her own sleuthing to figure out what happened to her friend. So I have not read this yet. We're gonna go ahead and jump into the review section right after I talk about the third book. And yeah, I'm excited. Let me know if you've heard anything about this one. So our last book was actually on my own anticipated reads that I really wanted to like read this year. It's not a book that came out this year, but it is one that had been on my list to read for a while. And so when I saw it being recommended on TikTok, I actually saw it recommended by The Cozy Report, who's also on YouTube, and I'll link her channel down below. But here's the TikTok that she's on.
In this series, Lana works at her family's restaurant and tries to fend off her relatives' attempts at setting her up on dates.
TikTok that she's on, and then I also saw it listed actually in the previous TikTok as well, because she had like a huge stack that she was going through to recommend. So I thought, well, perfect. I saw it recommended by 2 people, and it's on my own like TBR already. But it is an author that I haven't read, a series I haven't read from, and this is the Noodle Shop Mystery Series by Vivien Chien. This is, I believe, Vivien Chien or Vivien Chien. And it's called Death by Dumpling. This is the first in the series, and this story takes place with our main character, Lana Lee, and she has returned home to the Cleveland area after she kind of like stomps out of her workplace and like quits all of a sudden. And it sounds like she was also getting out of like a bad relationship. Just a lot of things weren't going right, so she ended up falling back on working at her family's noodle shop restaurant to make some money while she looks for other work. And so when she's working at the noodle shop mystery, she ends up delivering someone's lunch, including dumplings, and they end up having an allergic reaction to it. And the noodle shop is in this place, it's called I believe it's called the Asia Village, where it has a bunch of different Asian cuisine and different grocery stores and different Asian like products or clothing. The whole village is very close-knit, and so everyone knew the man that died had this like very hazardous like shellfish allergy. So it's kind of up to Lana to clear her mom's restaurant's name, because, you know, she knows that nobody there must have done it, like nobody would hurt the man, and it's kind of hard for her because everyone in Asia Village kind of was aware of this man's allergy, so it's kind of a stumbling ground trying to figure out and like narrow down the list of who actually did it. So I'm really excited for this. This has been on my to be read list for quite a while, so when I saw it on the TikTok videos, I was like taking advantage of that. And that's it for our little summaries. We're gonna go ahead, you're gonna see me in different outfits for the rest of the video probably, although I might start this one today, but you're gonna see me in different outfits giving you different reviews and feedback as I read these, and like a conclusion at the end. So let's go ahead and hop into our first review, whatever that may be. Hi guys! So this is part 2 of the TikTok Cozy Mystery videos. So today I'm going to be reviewing the 3 books that I chose for the TikTok challenge, and yeah, we're just going to go and hop into that. So the first one I have here is the Death by Dumpling book by Vivien Chien, or I know there's an I there, so I think it's Chien. And this is the first book in the Noodle Shop Mystery series. Now, this was actually on my 2022 like wanting to read list. It's not a book that came out this year, it's been out for quite a while, but I've been meaning to read it for a while, and I'm so pleased to report that I loved this book. I thought it was absolutely excellent. It was one of the better books, first series books that I've read in a while. It was recommended by the Cozy Report, and it's just incredible. So essentially, I know I gave a brief summary earlier, but our main character, Lana Lee, works at a noodle shop. She had an unfortunate falling out at her work, and she ended up like storming out and quitting, and to kind of make ends meet, so she starts working at her family's noodle shop. The family dynamics in this are so lovely. I love her mother. I love her father. I think they're excellent characters. I think her siblings are great. I think the relationship with the staff in the noodle shop is amazing. I love the descriptions of where the noodle shop is located. It's called Asia Village, so there's all these different Asian marketplaces, grocery stores, restaurants, clothing. There's like a video store, I want to say, like video CDs, even like music. So just hearing the description of all of this was so delightful. I will say I did call Who Did It a little too early for my liking, and I don't feel like the reveal was as exciting as I wanted personally. However, this is the first book in the series. Sometimes I feel like the first book, takes a little time to kind of work out some kinks and stuff, and I was really pleased with the character development. I also love Lana Lee's roommate, Megan. She was just super funny, and she also joined in on some of the fun hijinks that they were getting into sleuthing, so it was just really fun. And Lana was just such an enjoyable, realistic, character, flaws and all, but, you really felt like you were in her shoes while you were playing the mystery with her. So in summary, I think I gave the Death by Dumpling a solid 4 stars out of 5 stars. I'm definitely planning on reading the next one. Actually, coincidentally, my sister for my birthday ended up getting me the first 3 books in this series, so it worked out perfectly because I just read the first book, and then I have books 2 and 3, and I really loved the first book, so I'm super excited to read those. That'll definitely be coming up soon. This next one, I have to say, I was kind of disappointed in. This one, it fell short for me. I actually had to DNF it. I just was not enjoying it. I really tried. I got about halfway through it, but I just felt like I was just pulling myself through this mystery, and that is The Killer Content, a Brooklyn murder mystery by Olivia Blacke. And I went into this super excited because the person who is murdered, I want to make sure it's said in the summary, so I'm not giving anything away. The person who's murdered is a YouTuber, which, not that I want to be murdered, but I just found that to be an interesting concept, and this book clearly has a lot more social media influence with it, and I just had so many issues with this book. For starters, it felt all over the place. I could not keep track of what our main character, Odessa, which I still love Odessa's name, I think it's beautiful, I could not keep track of really what her thinking was, what she was doing. It seemed like it kind of jumped around a lot, and I was kind of having a hard time with the timeline. I was halfway through the book and I was like, I don't know if days have passed or weeks have passed. I don't really know where I'm at with this. Another complaint of mine was that there was just some really random scenes that seemed totally unnecessary, and unless maybe they were tied together in the end, I don't know, but they were so displeasing to read. I was just sitting there really bored, glazed over, so I didn't enjoy them. I didn't want to keep reading them. The main character, Odessa, she ended up sharing her aunt's flat with a coworker for a bit, and there was this whole chapter about a bird on the balcony that was attacking some trash or something they'd put out there, and I thought it was just gonna be this short couple paragraph scene, but it kept going and going and going, and I was like, what was the the scene seemed so out of place. It didn't add anything to the relationship with her roommate. I couldn't figure out anything that it added to the plot at all. I was just what am I reading this for? It was so random. I will say, obviously this has a focus on social media. I mean, a YouTuber is someone who dies. They do a lot of online research. Each chapter, which I thought this was a nice touch, each chapter did start with a tweet from different characters throughout the book, so I thought that was pretty cool because it just, I don't know, it was just kind of quirky. It kind of added a little bit more to each person's personality, especially some of the side characters who maybe didn't get as much time to develop, but it felt almost, I felt like most of the leads were social media based. Like they talked to some of like I think like a past relationship of the person, the deceased, but like it felt like there was not like a lot of active sleuthing. That's kind of a pet peeve of mine for a cozy mystery, is because oftentimes like the appeal of reading a cozy mystery is to be in the footsteps and like in the mind of a sleuth, like to kind of be along for the mystery, to try to figure it out. But this just felt like I couldn't really follow the timeline for what was happening. There was a lot of random scenes that didn't seem to need to be there, that didn't make sense, that were not very fun to read in my opinion. And I just, it's like, what could I possibly get from this? And another thing is I finished almost 200 pages of this, and this book was 290 pages, so I was pretty close to the ending, but I just gave up. Like I didn't care enough at that point. Another thing that kind of bothered me is that the main character, Odessa, she barely knows this person who died. Now that's not totally uncommon in a cozy mystery. Sometimes that happens. I do actually like that this cozy was set in a big city. It was kind of just a fun change of scenery, because a lot of cozies are set in small towns, so that was kind of fun. But Odessa was like dead set on the fact that this character had been murdered when there was just really nothing to suggest that she had been. Like, and I mean nothing. And it wasn't like she had a gut feeling, she followed up a little bit just to see, and then she stumbled on something that made her think it was murder. She kept following up on leads, getting nowhere. Like different things from the police, like the autopsy, like different things, like nothing suggested this person was murdered, and she just kept going. And now that I know there's one thing to be said for tenacity and persistence, but when you don't know somebody and there's literally no reason at all to think this person has been murdered beyond a gut feeling, and you have been investigating it a lot and doing all this research, it's kind of like almost scary obsessive. Like even some of the people that knew Bethany, who was the person who died, were kind of like, why are you so obsessed with this? Like just let her rest. I was kind of confused by that. Like there didn't really seem to be any build up or reason as to why she thought this. Like I couldn't follow her reasoning or why she was so compelled to find out, and I don't know. I don't know. I did not like this book. I had to DNF it. I like read through it. The first 100 pages or so were pretty good, but then the middle 100 pages that I read, it lagged. I got really sidetracked. There was lots of weird random scenes that didn't make sense, and it also seemed like it was kind of heavily pushing a lot of like kind of just name dropping like trendy things to kind of seem like it was with it, like it was it's cool. I don't know, whatever. I mean, I think I'm in the generation that Odessa and Bethany are in, and I was getting annoyed by how often these references were popping up. Like it just seemed like the author was trying too hard to be like with it and cool, and I got annoyed. Like I just was like, okay, like we get it, social media exists, but like it's not like social media isn't like this, it's a part of many people's day-to-day lives. It's not like it got really annoying really fast. I don't know. So I'm giving this a 1 out of 5 stars. It really was not good. I had to DNF it. There were parts that I liked about it, but I will not be picking up another one. And I'm really sad because I actually had the second one on my Goodreads list because it involves an escape room, which I love doing escape rooms. You get to like be in a puzzle room usually for an hour with yourself and like some friends or family or whoever you bring with you, and to solve puzzles to like escape the room, and it's so much fun. And I thought the idea of a murder mystery cozy in like an escape room was brilliant. I thought it was great, so I was so excited for the second book, but I will not be reading it. This was just kind of a hot mess in my opinion. Again, if you enjoy this book, I'm glad you do, but this just wasn't it for me. Okay, so we're gonna end on a positive note. This one I thought was really quite good. So this was recommended by Earl Grey Please, also known as Aubrey on TikTok, and this is called Town in a Blueberry Jam by B.B. Haywood. This is first in a new series. I had never heard of this author, never heard of this series. All of these are new authors and series to me. The only one I had heard of was the Noodle Shop one. But I was really excited because, I like blueberries. I like it. This is a very classic cozy mystery, like contemporary one. And so this is part of the Candy Holiday Murder Mystery series. And I was extremely pleasantly surprised. I thought from the back, it seemed like it was going to be a little too cutesy almost. Like, don't get me wrong, I love cozy mysteries. I read books with like pizzas on the cover and cupcakes and stuff, but like from like the names Candy Holiday and like the Blueberry Queen and Sapphire Vine, like I had to say, like some of the names were making me go, oh boy, what am I getting myself into? This was darling. This was amazing. The murder itself, the explanation of it, the reveal, like I had no idea. I was completely shocked. It was so well done though. The author delivered it, nailed it. It was great. Also, in case you're wondering, and in case the name Candy Holiday makes you roll your eyes a little bit, this has nothing to do with the murder, there's no spoiler, but the main character, Candy, was born on Halloween, so her parents thought it would be funny to name her Candy. So that made it a little bit better in my opinion, because I was like, Candy Holiday? Like, I was like, okay, that's, even for me, that was a little too much, I think, but I really enjoyed this. I think the setting was beautiful. I loved finding out about her relationship with her father. She lives with her father and runs this blueberry farm, and she also started picking up like some different side jobs throughout the novel as well. Like she started making pies for some people in town. She's selling her pies and like different blueberry jams at the festival, as you can kind of see on the cover there, and it was just so fantastic. So the basic premise is that you have this blueberry queen who gets crowned every year, and it's supposed to be like a high school girl usually, but there's this older woman named Sapphire Vine who's like in her late 30s, and she just, I guess, just chooses not to acknowledge that it's like, it's supposed to be high school women, like young women who are kind of like qualifying. Like the rewards for this are scholarships. So it's very like odd for someone who's like 38 or 39 who's not planning on going to school to compete. She was just doing it like to prove that she could win essentially, and she is a gossip columnist in town, and she competes in this Blueberry Queen contest, and she ends up winning despite like there's no reason she should have won. She's like out of place in the competition. Everyone else was much better with their acts, their answers, like there's just like no way that she won fair and square. So there's a lot of questions about her, if she was blackmailing people, like what she might have had on them, because she's a gossip columnist. I keep saying columnist. Columnist. She ends up being taken down, and a handyman that Candy is friends with is accused of her murder. So it kind of ties in with that. I think this book was really well written. I so pleasant, like I loved the mystery. The mystery was very well written. Unlike the other book I was just talking about, this one had a very clear like progression of events. I felt like I knew who the characters were. I wasn't like just being kind of thrown around, like confused with where I was at, what time and place I was at, like what was happening. I had like a general idea of what was happening. The town so far, everything that had been fleshed out was really lovely. I liked learning about all the characters, and I was pleasantly surprised because they gave so many side characters some really great depth, like to different reasons and motivations they may have had. Like it was really well done. So I would definitely recommend this. I thought this was really great. I did give this, I think, 5 stars on Goodreads, and I'm planning on trying to see if my library has the next one in the series because it was really good. So those are my thoughts on the 3 TikTok books that I picked out for my first TikTok books, you know, recommendations any good. I was curious, so I wanted to test them out, and I will say, you know, 2 out of 3 were very good. 1 was definitely not for me personally. It was just, I think, part a taste thing, and part I just found the writing and like plot line to be like a bit confusing, and like it just seemed like it wasn't flowing as well as I would have liked, or at least in the way that I like. So those are my thoughts on these 3 books. If you would like to see a part 2 to this with more like TikTok or popular book recommendations in the cozy mystery genre, let me know down below, because I already found a couple TikToks recommendations that I would be interested in reading and checking out for you guys. So let me know if you like this video format. I would love to hear your thoughts, and let me know down below, have you read any of these? Have you read any on TikTok or other booktuber recommendations, and how did they pan out for you? Were you impressed? Did you like them? I'd love to hear your thoughts on those, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more mystery and book content coming soon, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.